We're going to be talking about your gut, and if you're listening to it, lots of times we ignore what our gut is saying, and we'll discuss that as we go along. I own Flow Health Coaching. It is a registered trademark company, and this is my logo. So during the presentation outline tonight, we're going to be talking about who I am, what is gut coaching, what is the gut. Never have I ever, it's a little game we'll be playing. We'll talk about the diet industry, the importance of having a healthy gut. We're going to look at the Bristol poop chart. We're going to find out ways to take care of your gut. I'm going to share a little story. And then the importance of making yourself a priority in programs I offer. So a little bit about me. Who am I and why do you care? So I grew up in upstate New York during the 70s and 80s. I was outside playing all the time. And when I was 10, I proclaimed to my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, that I was going to live to 120. They all laughed at me. And they said, you don't want to live to 120. And at the time, I didn't understand why. I just figured, why not? I mean, life is so great. Why wouldn't you want to live to 120? And then as I got older and I'm in the field I am, I realized that they were tired and sick. They had poor diets. And I mean, if you're feeling that way, why would you want to live that long? So when I hit 11, 12, I was prepubescent, I started gaining a lot of weight. My parents thought that I was overweight, so they put me on fad diets. There was the grapefruit diet, the tuna fish diet, and low-fat everything. And then when I stopped the deprivation diet, I would gain all this weight back and more. So when I hit age 15, Denise Austin, does anyone know her? On ESPN, 5:30 in the morning, I would get up and work out to Denise Austin. I started really looking at what I was eating. I was taking out all the sugary cereals, so like Lucky Charms, O's, all the good stuff, right? And putting in shredded wheat. I was also taking salt out of my diet. I was taking everything out that I thought was bad, not realizing how important salt is. So, 18, I leave and go to the Navy, where I fluctuated in weight here and there. And as I was getting out, I did a processing out physical. My cholesterol at 22 was 219, which is high for a 22-year-old. I was eating a lot of processed food. I was eating a lot of fast food and military food, which isn't that great. I was drinking a lot because my friends and I all went out and drank. When I was in the Navy, I traveled around the world. I was stationed on Diego Garcia, which is this beautiful island. I was on Guam for 2 years, and then I was on a ship as well, and we Japan and Hong Kong and Singapore. I've been to Bahrain. I've flown around the world. So I got to see a lot of different cultures, and from there I got out, moved to Oakland, California, where I lived for 15 years before moving to Southern Oregon 10 years ago. And through this time, for the last 33 years, I have focused on my health. I've focused on the ups and downs, what exercises work for me, what diets work for me, what ways of eating works for me. So I've been married for 10 years. Our anniversary is on Thursday. And we have 2 daughters. We have 2 cats and a dog. I love cooking and baking healthy foods. And I will not lie, Betty Crocker's 1961 cookbook is one of my favorites. And the ingredients are not the best. So I change some I don't. I stick with the good stuff sometimes. I love knitting, crafting, painting, and going on hikes. So in 2019, I went and got certified for health coaching. So I'm a certified health coach and a certified life coach. So I can spend my time helping people. What is a gut coach? So a gut coach is a certified coach that helps guide you on your health journey to protect the health of your gut and to teach you how to listen to your gut and hold you accountable for your health goals. And what is the gut? So the digestive system, that's your whole gut. It starts in the mouth and that works its way down until it leaves your body at the anus. So we're gonna play a little game. Never have I ever. Has everyone heard of this game before? No. I'm gonna ask a question, never have I ever, and if you have, you're gonna raise your hand. If you haven't, you'll leave your hand down, okay? So the first one, never have you ever ate too much food that I had to unbutton my top button of my pants or switch to stretchy pants?
So raising hands, yes?
Yes.
Have done it.
Yep. Okay, never have I ever gone out with friends, drank too much, ate too much rich food, woke the next morning with horrible hangover either from food or alcohol.
Our parents won't get the results of this quiz.
No, but it is recorded. Just FYI. Never have I ever counted calories, tracked food, logged macros, been able to mentally calculate points, calories, macros without even looking the food up. Never have I ever, and this is a fill in the blank, ate cheese, bread, soy, meat, caffeine, eggs, grains, chips, ice cream, milk, nuts, processed food, fried fast foods, chocolate, and the list continues. That made you bloated or itchy or gassy, or thirsty, and you kept eating it because you love it.
I don't have enough hands for each of these.
Never have I ever ate when I wasn't hungry. Never have I ever had a caregiver tell me you need to eat everything on your plate. There are starving children somewhere in the world. You're not getting up from the table until you clean your plate.
Yeah, we've all had the vacuum, the parent vacuum.
Right, yes. Never have I ever said, I am not hungry, then be told, usually by a caregiver, grandparent, someone who loves you, no, you need to eat. Here, I will make you a plate. Never have I ever felt ashamed or guilty for not eating all my food, for throwing leftovers away, for politely saying no to food offered. Never have I ever kept eating something that regularly gives you heartburn.
It tastes so good.
I know. And never have I ever fallen down and got hurt, but was told, you're fine, there's nothing to cry about. Never have I ever listened to what my gut wants. These are all ways we have stopped listening to our gut and our body. We've been trained to ignore our internal guide. Throughout the years of being told, here, eat, even though you know you're not hungry, you're being told to eat. Eat all your food on your plate. Even though you're done, you're full, your body has said you're satiated, you're being told not to listen to what your body is saying and what your gut is saying. So we've been taught to ignore our gut, from caregivers, diet industry, marketing, ads, and doctors. We have lost touch with our gut. We have lost touch with what we need. We've been pushed to eat fast while working. We have forgotten how to slow down and chew our food. So a question. How many times do you think you're supposed to chew your food before swallowing?
3. 3.
3. So a lot of people think it's 3. It's supposed to be 30 or more times you're supposed to chew your food. When you chew your food, you're breaking your food down, so your digestive system has an easier time digesting it. If it's spending all of its energy focused on breaking that down, that's a lot of energy. It's not gonna work as well. It's gonna slow down, it's gonna be sluggish. and then you're going to feel tired. So let's talk about the diet industry. The diet industry has been in effect for almost 200 years. So if you think about it, when our caregivers had been telling us, eat your food, we have been in this mindset of diets for almost 200 years. So this is Sylvester Graham. He invented the original graham cracker. Of course, it didn't have the sugar in it. Nabisco ended up adding sugar and fat to it to make it, delicious. Yeah. So Graham was a Presbyterian minister who spoke about the dangers of eating processed flour. He ended up developing a flour that was made of wheat germ. He also advocated for vegetarian diets, and what he didn't want people drinking alcohol or other stimulants or added chemicals or spices. So it was a very plain vegetarian diet. He also theorized how stress creates disease, which is something that's been coming up a lot lately in our current time. So trusting your gut. To trust your gut. What if you could learn to trust your gut as if you were 3 years old again, where you just listen to what it was saying, knowing exactly what you want, trusting when you're hungry, trusting when you're satiated, trusting when you do not want to eat something, and taking that space when you eat. I mean, think about a 3-year-old or a toddler who they're hungry, they eat. They're done eating, they walk away, and they tell you pretty clearly they don't want any more, either by throwing it or by just screaming no and running away.
And then you get a half-eaten soggy cookie.
Right. They'll give you half of what they've eaten. So if we get curious, what if we look at the source of the problem? What if we learn to listen to what our gut is saying, and what if we were able to learn to trust our gut? What if we were able to be mindful and take a breath before making a decision, before deciding to eat whatever we're going to eat? If you are not hungry, but you find yourself eating, be mindful and think, well, why? Why am I eating? Why am I deciding to eat this thing that bothers my stomach, causes me indigestion and heartburn, diarrhea? Why do I continue eating it? What's there? What's lying there for me? And what do you need at that moment? Ask. It may not be that you need this food. It may be that there's something else going on. Think about how you're feeling. Are you feeling tired? Maybe it's time to go for a walk. Just get up and walk around the block instead of going to the refrigerator to see what's there. And then, are you sad? There's been movies about it and commercials about it, and when we're sad, we tend to get ice cream or get something that's comforting. What if we were to change that? Are you craving sweets? Is there something internally that needs to be nourished? So, some fun facts. Our body, we're really just a walking bacteria. That's what we are. Our body is covered with hundreds of thousands of trillions of bacteria inside and out. In our gut, we have 37 trillion. Those 37 trillion bacteria are there to eat everything that you eat. So if you're feeding your gut happy, healthy food, those happy, healthy bacteria will be thriving and they will be doing what they're supposed to be doing. When you're eating fried fast food, you're eating processed food, those good bacteria start dying off because they don't have the nutrients to thrive. 95% of the serotonin is produced in the gut. And the gut also releases dopamine and oxytocin. So when you're feeding your gut healthy whole foods, lots of fiber, your gut then it does like a Google review to your brain on what you're feeding it. So if it's 5 stars, it will send the signal up to your brain saying, they are treating us really well, 5 stars, highly recommend them, release the dopamine and the oxytocin. And the brain will send the signal back down to the gut to release the dopamine and oxytocin. If you're not feeding your gut the good, whole, high-fibered foods, then it sends, a 1-star review, maybe a 2-star review. And then it gets into our mindset and depression, and that starts coming in. I'll talk about that on the next slide. So our digestive tract has more nerve cells than our spinal cord, which I find just so fascinating. 70 to 80% immune cells are present in the gut. If we're eating those healthy whole foods, they're going to thrive. If you're finding that you're sick more, start looking at what you're eating. Your digestive tract is about 3 times your height, with the majority of it being your small intestines, which is pretty cool. Okay, why is it important to have a healthy gut? A healthy gut keeps a healthy mind. They've done studies where they found that dementia and Alzheimer's is starting in the gut. It's affecting people not only in their 70s and 80s, it's also affecting people in their 40s and 50s. So being really aware of what you're eating and how it's affecting your mind. A healthy gut allows delivery of needed nutrients throughout your body. When your gut is inflamed and not happy, it doesn't have the surface to be able to take in water, nutrients, and minerals. You have a healthy immune system. If you're eating a lot of fiber, you're going to be pooping regularly. And when you're pooping regularly, all those toxins are leaving your body. They're not storing up and just hanging out, festering, and doing lots of great stuff. It helps keep you disease-free, and you feel alive and energized. Who doesn't want to feel alive and energized? The Bristol poop chart. This is what we want to go for. This is our goal. We want the sausage, snake, banana, smooth, soft, nut butter consistency, number 4. That's what we want. So with 1, that is, hard clumps, hard to pass, rabbit droppings. That one, there's not enough water. Usually if you start hydrating more, that will help. And also looking at if you're eating a lot of cheese, or if you're eating, something that's pulling water from your intestines. 2, it's pretty much the same. 3, you're getting there. It's looking good. 4 is great. 5, 6, and 7, you're having diarrhea. There's either something just happening, you ate something your body didn't like, which this happens. I'm sure we've all experienced it. But then there are times where this becomes chronic, and it's just not an acute diarrhea issue, it's chronic. And that's the time where you really need to look at what you're eating. And there are times where you may be constipated, but you're having diarrhea. So in your intestines, it's kind of stuck, and then you have just a little space for liquid to get through. And then that's what comes out. Good stuff, huh?
Can I ask a quick question?
Can you save it for the end? Great. Okay, so when your gut isn't happy, do we want any of those? Do we want to be any of these pictures here? No. So when your gut isn't happy and you're dealing with inflammation, if you're dealing with any of these, your gut's a little inflamed. So if you have yeast infections, if you're bloating, gas, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, you've been dealing with brain fog more than just a couple days or a week or so, If your body feels an unease, we know when our body, something's not right. Really look at that. Chronic diseases start in the gut. Heart disease, diabetes, eczema. If your skin's really dry, and right now, this time of year, really dry skin. This winter, I feel like my skin's been the driest it's ever been. So bringing in nurturing oils and sauteing foods and oils, juicier fruit, citrus and stuff will help with that. Acne, your skin tells you how your gut is doing. If it's releasing toxins through the pores of your skin and you're not sweating enough and it's just coming out as pustules and zits and acne, then definitely something to look at. Indigestion, heartburn, GERDs, stomach cancer, dementia and Alzheimer's, lupus, and rheumatoid arthritis all have to do with the gut. So, how many of you feel like you've been chased by a lion throughout your daily days? I will raise my hand. I'll tell you a little story about this. So say you have 10 minutes to eat. You haven't eaten all day. You're starving. You need to eat, right? But you don't have time to. So you grab something really quick and you're standing there, you're eating, or you're rushing out the door and eating in the car. Your body, your sympathetic nervous system's turned on. Your body isn't going to be in a state where you can heal, rest, and actually digest your food. So imagine you have this beautiful sandwich. You made this gorgeous sandwich. You're eating the sandwich. It tastes so good. And then the last bite, all of a sudden a lion comes out of nowhere and starts chasing you. You need to think. So you're going to go into fight, flight, or freeze with your sympathetic nervous system on. What are you going to do if a lion's chasing after you? You see this lion coming towards you. What are you going to do? Run. Yeah, you're going to run. But you just ate that sandwich, so your stomach's full. Do you think your body is going to be pushing blood to your stomach to start digesting that sandwich? No, it's going to be sending it to your extremities. It's going to be sending it to your arms, your legs, because you need energy right now to get out of there as fast as you can, because if you stay, you're not going to make it. The lion's going to have you and the sandwich. If well, either way, if you stay, you're done. So you're going to run. And you're running. The lion, you lose the lion, but your adrenaline is up, right? Because you were just chased by a lion. And you sit there and you think, oh my God, I was just chased by a lion. Who's chased by a lion? So then you're going to pull out your Facebook, right? And you're going to post, I was just chased by a lion. So then people are going to comment on that. And that adrenaline is going to keep going and going and going. And you're going to be in sympathetic nervous system turned on for hours, maybe days. And then, after some time, your parasympathetic system will turn on. But that sandwich that you ate like 8 hours ago is still hanging out in there because it hasn't had a chance to actually digest, because your body hasn't been in that state to be able to actually digest your food. Food takes 6 to 8 hours to digest from start to finish. There we go. Okay, so ways to take care of your guts. You want to feed it good, healthy, fresh foods. You want to give those good buggies in there some pro and prebiotics. You want to learn ways to lower your stress. You want to meditate. You want to journal. You want to sleep, get enough sleep a night. You want to slow down when you eat. You should be taking 20 minutes to eat a meal. And you want to take breaths while you're eating. You want to set down your utensils. You want to focus on your food. You don't want to focus on your phone while you're eating your lunch or your dinner. You don't want to focus on the television. You want to be mindful and focus on what you're eating. And you just want to slow down in general. Move your body every day and make sure you drink plenty of water, about 10 8-ounce glasses a day. So in a world addicted to speed, slowness is a superpower. By Carl Honar. Honar. Please correct me. Yeah. Okay, so I have this story I'm going to share. It's about a loved one. She was about 41 when all of this really started. But early on, she was a hard worker. She loved her family. She loved food. She loved giving. And as she was in a lot of stress, she had relationship stress, financial stress, just living in the city in San Francisco. And so she had those stresses. And she started dealing with heartburn and GERDs and stuff she just kind of ignored. And then she ended up having H. pylori, which, if you don't know, is a bacteria that gets into your gut. And if you don't take antibiotics to get rid of it, then it could cause ulcers and possible stomach cancer. So she was prescribed antibiotics. She chose not to take it because she figured it would go away on its own. As time went by, she started dropping a lot of weight. And she had been trying to lose her pregnancy weight for years and years and years and years. And she just started dropping weight. And people are coming up to her, asking her, like, what are you doing? How are you losing the weight? And she's like, I don't know, I haven't changed anything I'm doing. And they're like, wow, you look so great. And she's like, thanks. And she's feeling, really jazzed because she's gotten really thin. And of course, our culture is all about skinny, right? Not about healthy. So it got to a point where she was only able to eat a quarter of what she usually ate. And then when she ate more than that, she would throw up. And the time where she started throwing up blood, she went to the ER. When she was at the ER, they ended up diagnosing her with, they referred her to a gastro-oncologist, where she was staged with stage 4 stomach cancer. At that point, she thought, oh, there's stuff I can do now. Well, at that point, it's too late. She ended up, after she was diagnosed, it was about 8 months later, and she passed away at the age of 42. If she had listened to what was going on with her gut, I wonder if she would still be here today. If she had taken the antibiotics, I wonder if she would be here today. If there was choices that she made, if she ended the relationship she was in that was very stressful, I wonder if she would be here today. So these are things that we have to think about in our life to be healthy. So make yourself the priority. You get to make the choice every single moment of every single day whether you choose to be healthy or not. This is your choice. You are the only one standing in your way. You need to make your health a priority. No one else will do it for you. There is no simple or easy button to push. I wish there was. There isn't. There's no quick fix pill that will help you lose weight, help you get strong, or help you be happy. What you eat and how you are in the world will help you. Using patience and grit to keep you moving forward, even during those times when you feel defeated. Having someone hold you accountable and cheer you on as you go through your journey is ideal and a must. How many times have you said, I can work out at home, I don't need a personal trainer? Who's said that before? Yep. Or, I can eat well, I can totally do that. I am going to stop eating all sugar and caffeine starting tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. We all need a coach to help us. Even coaches need coaches. So if you're feeling bloated, tired all the time, moody, irritable, gaining weight, losing weight, extreme weight, loose stool, constipation, heartburn, acid reflux, GERDs, sugar cravings, reach out to me. My programs, I have a 90-day, your gut is talking, are you listening? Which is you're learning how to listen to your gut, and we're going through different activities to help you do that. You learn to trust yourself. I see my clients once a week for 12 weeks. And then I also have a Get Your Shit Together program, which I just finished the beta program last month. That went really well. And I'm starting another program at the end of April. And you learn about your gut, and you see visuals of your stool. We chart what you eat and what your stool looks like. So you get to see how your eating is affecting your poop. And that's also a once a week meetup for 4 weeks. And then Feel Great in 8 Days is an 8-day gut intensive. This is like a gut boot camp. It's gonna be hardcore. And that's me.
Wow.
And that's how you can get a hold of me. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions that I can help with? Okay.
Burping and farting. Besides being fun and amusing, what do they signal from the gut? What are they telling you?
So for everyone at home, burping and farting, what's it telling you? So it's telling you, one, you're probably a little inflamed. Your gut didn't like what you ate, or it might be having reaction to beans or something that's a gassy food. You can really play around with it and see if it affects you every time you eat that food, or if it's just like a bizarre occurrence.
I'm asking
Yeah.
for a friend.
Right. Leah.
Is looking at your stool and using that Bristol poop chart one of the best ways to understand what's going on in your gut?
So she asked, looking at the Bristol poop chart, if that's the best way to see what's going on with your gut when you're looking at your stool. Yeah, it's a great way. It's a great way to look and see. And you can also check out colors too. Colors can tell you a lot. Like if you have very green poop or if you have black stool, usually there's blood happening somewhere in your system. So getting that checked out. Gray poop is something's going on with your gallbladder. Gray, white poop. So
Yellowish?
yellowish, it could be something you ate. I want to say it's something else. I'm blanking right now. Yeah. I do have a whole chart that I didn't put in there on the colors. Yeah. Yes.
Can you explain prebiotics a little more?
Sure, yeah. So prebiotics is something, like kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, anything that's been fermented that will help feed your bacteria that's in your gut. It's a good thing to take, especially if you're taking antibiotics to help with that.
I missed it when you defined what GERDs is.
Oh, I actually didn't. She asked if I defined what GERDs was. I didn't define what GERDs
What
was.
is it?
So a GERDs is when you're having in your gut, you're having like acid reflux. It's a different level of acid reflux. So you have heartburn, acid reflux, and then GERDs. And lots of times with acid reflux, it's because you don't have enough acid in your stomach that causes, it feels like you have way too much acid, but you don't. Yeah. To answer that? Yes?
Yeah, so I've just been reminded about pH, and you didn't really mention that idea of our system being alkaline or acid. And it's so not looked upon in allopathic medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the stomach needs to be acid, but just the very simple process of checking your urine and seeing what the kind of what's growing all that bacteria.
Right.
An alkaline uric acid system. So what anything you want to comment into that?
So for the people at home, she's asking about alkaline diets and foods in your system. I feel like, because I had this experience last fall where I was having a lot of antibiotics. I had surgery, and my pH was probably through the roof, acid side, so I ended up having a lot of alkaline foods. I had a lot of bone broth. I had a lot of cooling foods. I stayed away from breads and anything that had a higher pH. I kind of dabbled with that for myself, and I talk to my clients about it when they're having a lot of high acid or low acid in their stomachs, to really look at what foods are more alkaline to kind of cool their stomach down and chill it out some for a while so it can heal. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, I have a sister who has really chronic constipation, and she's in North Carolina. So do you have clients that are out of this area?
I do. I see clients through Zoom. Yeah, that's where I see all of my clients, actually, through Zoom. Yeah. Anyone else?
What about Chili's?
Chili's, like the restaurant Chili's? No, eating Chili's.
Yeah, eating Chili's and, the effect that might have on your stomach or other parts of your digestion.
I think that's one of the things that it's a by basis thing. If it doesn't affect you, eat it. But if it bothers your system, then don't eat it. It's like it's one of those, what is good for you may not be good for me, and what's good for me may not be good for you. So really taking your body is the laboratory. We all have our own individual laboratory, and when there's a food that doesn't work for us, but someone else is like, yes, this is the food to have, it doesn't mean that's the food for you to have. So really looking at your body and how it reacts. Yeah. Yeah, Abby.
This is kind of foundational. Can you just kind of talk about the spectrum between whole foods and processed foods? Like I had someone that used to say, don't eat anything out of a box, a can.
Yeah. So processed food versus whole foods. So a whole food is something that has not been processed at all. So, you go and get a cucumber from the garden, that's a whole food. But if you're getting a dressing that has chopped up cucumber in it and it went through a process of either juicing or something, it's been processed in a way, it's been broken down. And it just depends on what level you want to be at with how you want to eat. So we'll take sugar. Coconut sugar isn't as processed as white granule sugar. So how do you want to go with that, right? Honey, even less than. So it's just the process. Did that answer your question? Okay. If I'm babbling, just let me know. Anyone else?
When you said prebiotics were things like kimchi and sauerkraut and such, I always thought of those as probiotics. So what would be examples of probiotics?
Well, probiotics, yeah. Well, kimchi and sauerkraut are probiotics. And then you can go with a lot of vegetables, which can be prebiotics as well. Like I know like jicama is, and I'm just kind of blanking on what other prebiotics are. I think ginger.
Some foods are just naturally.
Yeah, some foods are naturally prebiotic,
And what is
and
the
then
difference between pre and pro in terms of what they do?
that's a great
I
question.
never really quite understood it.
I think
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Probiotics, I believe, are
Contain the bacteria that you want to plant in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And prebiotics are fiber, isn't it? Prebiotic?
Yeah,
What they-
fibers, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, high fiber foods,
Antibiotics, it kills the bacteria. So you
right,
need the probiotics to put back.
yeah,
And then the
Prebiotics.
prebiotics feed it all?
yes,
Okay.
yep, yep,
Just take all the vitamins.
yeah, it's all good, yeah, yeah. Anything else?
I don't know if this is actually, good, it's, but I don't know, I, have to use, DMNOs, a lot to, clean out the bladder, tubes. But I don't know what is causing it.
I do not.
Me either.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Something I'll look up and research. Definitely. Yes.
I know if you've been on antibiotics, there's foods to eat that's beneficial after you take a course of antibiotics, like Activa yogurt. Are there any other foods other than the Activa that are good?
Oh, definitely a whole fat yogurt will be good. And then again, like the sauerkraut, the kimchi, the more fermented foods will be really good.
Activa is more of a, like, for people that maybe not as prone to eat.
Yes.
It's more like packaged ready, this is good. this
Right.
tastes good.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut and kimchi are not really for everything.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely a certain taste that some people ease into. Definitely. Yeah.
Is there an advantage to eating Greek yogurt over just, I don't know, what you said, whole milk yogurt?
I think it's just the consistency on if you like a thicker yogurt versus a thinner yogurt. Definitely. Yeah.
I find a lot of yogurts have so many added sugars and stuff that I just get plain yogurt.
Yeah. Yeah, so with the yogurt and sugar, and when you end up getting low-fat yogurts or low-fat foods in general, they're taking the fat out, but they're adding sugar to it. So it's just better to go with the full fats. Yes.
Have you ever heard of pepper therapy?
I have not heard of pepper
You know,
therapy.
it's just kind of like eating something super hot that you know is going to flush your system and burn.
Probably
And
similar.
you do this like in a series to basically clean yourself out and start all over with the prebiotics and the biotics and H. pylori, which I can testify that you can keep it at bay eating very hot food.
Oh,
Yeah.
good to know.
You don't know that it's the E. pylori
Uh-huh.
because you are eating the hot food, but your body seems to not release the painfulness, the bloatedness in your stomach, and it just it's almost like a medicine for the pain. At least.
Right.
Yeah, I think that cayenne pepper was, Jethro Kloss in his Back to Eden book talks about the benefits of cayenne for cleansing and helping. And then also a lot of people that used to get a lot of chemotherapies during the AIDS time back when you were much younger. But I knew a lot of people that were surviving because they took kombucha.
Oh, yeah.
And they made their own kombucha. It became a whole huge culture of culturing your own kombucha, which is sugar and tea and this mushroom. So do you know much about that?
About kombucha?
The benefits of kombucha?
Yeah, I personally love kombucha, and it's also a great pro and prebiotic to have to drink because it feeds your gut bacteria. It's definitely a good thing to have.
And there was also some products where people would take these trillions of organisms that had been in a kind of crystal form or something. They'd pour it in water, you drink this, and it would re-inhabit the system of the gut.
Yeah, you're basically making, that's how it came about. It was a little pod that you could get. I knew people that were doing it. This was back like in the 90s, early 90s. They'd make their own tea and just leave it somewhere like under their sink for like 5 weeks. You're drinking that? Okay. And it was kind of fuzzy and tasted kind of weird, but okay.
Right.
Gave you a little bit of a buzz. But it was,
Uh-huh.
it felt like it was good for your stomach. It was
Yeah.
like carbonate. It was like heavy carbonation tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, well, apparently the story of penicillin is that the government was asking people to send in rotten stuff to them, and there was the cantaloupe, the green cantaloupe that was growing weird stuff, and that's where they got penicillin.
Yeah.
The original spores. So you never know what is a treasure and what is horrible.
Right. You don't. And you get to, explore it all with your body too.
You know, something you said that I'd like to hear more about, where you said both that you can have constipation, diarrhea at the same time. So is that the diarrhea is slipping through because the constipation is actually they're kind of clogging the digestive tract or the intestines?
Yeah. So you can think of it like a clogged pipe that has just a little bit of space, and water can go through, and it's pulling some of the debris from the clogged portion.
So how do people find out that they actually have the constipation?
Well, you can go through and do like a psyllium husk, drink that a couple times a day, eat a lot of fiber, see if things get moving. And if it doesn't seem like anything's moving along and it's just still watery stool, you can definitely go in and see your doctor and see if you haven't had a solid bowel movement. In a few weeks, I would go in and
Well, I haven't had it, but I just don't know how people can know what they're up against.
yeah. Well, you can also feel your belly too, and feel around if you're feeling a hard mass around your intestines. It might be, something hanging out in there that shouldn't be, and you can always massage it, which is great to get things moving. Yeah.
Is that IBS? Is that what IBS is?
Well, IBS is it's a leaky gut, and when your intestines are really inflamed and your villi can't take anything in, you slowly start having cracks happening in your inflamed intestines, and that's when it starts leaking into your body, which isn't good.
So how do you know if you have IBS? You don't feel good?
I would think you would not feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something you have to go to the doctor
you would
and
know if something's off anyway.
right, and they'll do either blood work or stool samples to see what's happening. Yeah. Anyone else? Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for being so kind. Makes me want to do more.